Information is important because it gives you greater insight to who you are, how you work, how the consciousness works. And that's what the Bible points you to, this information. And this is what we try to convey to a lot of you Christians, religious people, that that's what's deep inside the book. I mean, you got to look around at a lot of the symbolism and ask yourself, what is this stuff? You know, besides always saying Satan, 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 because the Satan part of it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. So it has to be something else. So what is that? And you got to look at it and dig. You know, people see, you know, just Saturn and say it's Satan, you know, just all the Saturn and symbolism. What is that? People see, you know, the hand gestures and everything and Illuminati and so-called, you know, secret societies or what have you, and don't understand what this stuff is about. And you got to think about it, that if these people exist and, you know, talking about serious people who have power, what are they keeping from us? You know, what are they hiding from us? They have the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and every Masonic lodge on the altar. So obviously, you know, we're supposed to choose one religion and have them all. So it's something about these religions we have to understand. So you think of people would, you know, do all this. We're talking about the symbol on the back of the dollar, the layout of Washington, all this stuff for some type of secret. What could the secret possibly be? And why is it in these books? So you got to look at stuff like this that's outside of biblical religion. Understanding again that King James was a Freemason. Understanding that the Bible is so esoteric and stories can't be, you know, can't be corroborated. It can't be backed up. It can't be backed up by history or anything else. So, you know, you just got your faith. And for some people, that's enough. But for us, you know, we got to look outside the box. So yeah, we always get into this debate about, you know, point, purpose, you know, what is the point of doing what we do, you know, going against the Bible, so to speak. And what is, you know, what do we stand to gain from it? What is our point? And that goes for, you know, that goes to people just not understanding what's out there, because you would have to think you know everything in the world to ask such a question, to make a boastful, you know, statement like that. Like we're just doing something that defies all logic and common sense by challenging something that has no logic and common sense. And that's the whole thing. I mean, it's legit questions, as I always talk about, that we ask in the book. You know, it's so many questions that have been put up by many people. God is supposed to be perfect and all knowing. He's clearly not perfect and all knowing just from the beginning of the book. And a perfect being cannot create something that is imperfect. But the whole thing is, you know, man sinned, but you created man with the ability to sin. A God who wants obedience, why would you create something that can be in opposition to you? You know, it don't make sense. So we have questions, you know, straight from the garden that it's a head scratcher. But when you actually do real history, you know, real research on history, and you go back and look at similar stories that took place long before anything biblical exists, like the Garden of Hesperides, as we talked about, it, you know, you got to look at this stuff. It's not that we're out of left field and tripping about our research or information. It's valid points. It's too many holes to poke in the book. And, you know, you guys gotta really do the research. So, you know, for the people who, you know, wanted to know what's up with Saturn and Satan and what that's all about. And, you know, got people saying, why are you teaching satanic stuff? Or you have a satanic series on Satan, and they haven't even seen the videos. And the first, you know, the videos are on YouTube, and the full videos are not. I think Saturn and Satan 1 is full, but the rest of them, you know, they're not the entire video because I couldn't put everything on. You know, you have to get the digital download, you know, to see it all. And yeah, So I said before, I put it out on DVD for the people who ask. But for those people, like, it's an unbelievable connection that it's going to blow your mind and snap you right out of a lot of weird thinking once you get into this aspect of it. And as I said, I couldn't go any further until I understood this satanic aspect of all of this, because it's what scared me the most. But just understanding that, no matter what you pray to, you're going to be, subject to your own choices. And that's what it's about. The choices you make is going to determine where you go. Even if, somebody else does something for you, you had to choose to, put things in motion to let that happen. No matter what, so you influence somebody, you did something. Somebody saw what you was doing, you was presented, or, around or close to or near somebody loved you. No matter what, you are involved in the equation of something happening for you. There's nothing outside of you that's making that happen. All starts with you. So to pray to something outside of you to do something for you that doesn't exist, it's just crazy to think something like this is going to happen for you, when it just makes more sense to try to understand what are these things out here that I can touch and I can see that's also unbelievable, that basically, it's way more interesting than what's in the Bible. What are these things? What are these structures? Who are these ancient people that existed? Did they build this stuff? Did they get help from aliens? What's going on? To look into that makes more sense than to just accept some man in a pulpit trying to get $1 from you every Sunday to teach a book that you can read yourself, but you don't. And to say you follow a religion that you don't follow. It's one of those things I always tell people: you got to look in the mirror and be real with yourself about what you're doing and what you think you know, and, what you think you understand, when you haven't really looked. And this is the conflict we get into with a lot of Christians, because we got to deal with those issues. And if you're really trying to get knowledge on this, you got to look. And yes, the questions about the Book of Enoch we talked about in Saturn and Satan 7. Again, you guys got to understand, the Gnostic text had them as a part of the Gnostic Bible. When you go back, the Nag Hammadi manuscripts, you have the whole Book of Enoch. And again, so unless you have those, we don't have the originals of that as well. I put out the whole story, what happened with that whole thing. James Bruce gave us the Book of Enoch. He was the Mason of the Cannon Gate Kill-Winning Lodge. And he spoke Ge'ez, and he went to Ethiopia. And up until this point, nobody could find a copy of the Book of Enoch. He goes there, and, we talk about the decades, nobody can't get their hands on it. He goes there and, he finds not one, not two, but I believe it was 3 copies. He never does a translation of the books. He spoke Ge'ez before he went there, and he's there about 6 years and finds what nobody can find in hundreds of years. So, the whole story is suspect, but, you got to look at that. The Ethiopian Bible, again, Abba Garaim, I talked about this. Byzantine Royal, and, the whole story, all of it is suspect. So the Book of Enoch aspect is still just as esoteric as the Bible itself. You have to compare the stories. It's the only way. Compare the stories and talk about Noah's Ark, and you just compare it to the biblical Noah's Ark. And, you can just go back and look at the Epic of Gilgamesh and all the flood stories, and you start doing your research and comparing, and you're going to come out with exactly what I talked about in the video as to what this is pertaining to and how it came about. The one thing that's clear, that's for sure, is everybody talked about this flood story. So, obviously the Bible is piggybacking off of that, because when you go throughout the world in different civilizations and they all talking about the same thing, it's something, it's valid. And we're talking about during, flood in the Bible. Nobody survived it but Noah. But we're talking about people talking about this flood, that existed, that lived through it, and, talked about it. Clearly, this is not Noah. He can't exist in every single civilization. So obviously, this is something that happened, not during the time of Noah, supposedly, in the Bible. So another thing you have to look at, you got to look at the evidence that's out there, the information that's out there that Bible doesn't talk about, and gives you a different aspect as to what could possibly be going on. You know, to want to pray to something that you can't see or have, you'll never be able to prove that, it exists. That's just the programming. That's all it is. It's programming just giving you that hope or something to hold on to that, you need because you're too scared to face life or too lazy to do any real research. But doing the research helps. It gives you that peace and, it sets you free from all of this nonsense, which is why it's one of the reasons why we do what we do. I know a lot of people have questions. A lot of people just want to get to the bottom of what's going on and what this stuff is all about. And, it's deep, but, the research, the information on all this is just much better to do than just simply believe in what we've been taught over the years about biblical religion. So it's one of the things that I just want people to know. People got a lot of questions. People, they always want to look for the pieces that fits with their understanding of what they think is going on. And this is how we do shit. If it fits with what you think or what you believe, then you say, oh yeah, it's good information. If it don't, it's like, you stupid, you know what you're talking about. But did you do the research? And that's what it basically comes down to. And, a lot of Christians have not because of this whole faith thing. But if you got faith, you shouldn't be looking in the first place. If you have faith, you shouldn't be asking questions. You're supposed to just have faith. And that's another thing you got to think about. So many aspects of religion that you have to accept, and you have to accept them all. And questions is just not one of those things. Even though the Bible tells you to seek knowledge, if you got faith, that question has always been put out there. If God's supposed to be protecting you, then who can stop him? What is he scared of? God's supposed to have your back and you're supposed to be blessed and highly favored. Who can touch you? How can any wrong enter your life? But it does. So that should tell you something. It should tell you something when everything happened with all these people, getting sick and get killed in church and all that. It should tell you something. So, look at yourself, look in the mirror. You know what you're doing, what you're not doing. If you're living right, you're doing what you're supposed to do. 9 times out of 10, you'll be okay. You got to make the decisions in your life. You got to do what you're supposed to do. Stop looking outside yourself. Even the Bible tells you to look in yourself. So, yeah, just wanted to answer a couple quick questions real quick, put this quick video out. Make sure you guys check out the video on Merkabah Academy. It's a must-watch video. Make sure you see Saturn and Satan 7. Even if you didn't see the previous ones, this is one of the videos you can see and you'll be fine. So make sure you check it out. And yeah, thanks for watching.